go. And I'm going to pop into Blender. And you can see I got my chair open in Blender. And what I really wanted to do is some pretty small, easy stuff. I just wanted to kind of throw some quick bevels on the edges on the armrest here. And I wanted to create a little kind of a headrest cushion up here at the top, right? So the beveling is going to be pretty easy because you can see I'm already kind of on this object, right? But remember, 4 for object mode. You can kind of click on the object you want to be on. You will notice we're getting kind of that kind of weird shading right there. If we remember, if you go to your little kind of green triangle down here, right? So there's that green triangle right here. There we go. Give it a minute to come up. You'll see there's a section here called normals that you can open up, right? And then there's something called auto smooth, right? And what that's going to do is once that's checked on, and I like to have the angle up higher, like say 85 degrees. And what that's going to do is when we do a smooth shade on this, it's going to make it so that like little areas like this that look a little faceted won't look like that. It'll blend the normals properly. So remember, sometimes when you're working with low-res stuff, you might need to go into the green triangle, normal section, turn on auto smooth, and give it like not quite 90 degrees, not quite a right angle. So remember, in object mode, right, 4 for object mode, I can click on this. I can right-click, I can shade smooth. And you see how it actually does a pretty good job of shading this pretty well, except for when you get to kind of right angles. Now, in this case, I'm going to hit 2 for edge mode, because I really want to go in here and I want to bevel the edges. Now, this is where we're going to selectively bevel some of our edges, right? So in this case, I'm going to hit Q to go to my selection tool, and I can just double left click, and just kind of really grab kind of these edges kind of on the corners, on the bottoms. It might even be one of those things where you might want to bevel every edge. So you might even just kind of go in here and hit Control A. Remember, Control A is select all, right? Select menu, select all. Now, in this case, though, I don't really want every one of these edges, right? So it might be one of those instances where if you Control double click, right? I haven't talked about this yet, and it works quite well. But where a Shift double left click will allow you to select multiple edge loops, Control double left click will allow you to subtract. So you can go in here and you can actually subtract some of these extra edge loops that you don't really want to bevel, right? Because some of these ones right here, I don't really want to bevel those, right? So you might actually find that this is really, really cool. And it's another one of those great things about Blender, right? Is this actually works really well. So just as double left click will select an edge loop and then Shift double left click will select multiple edge loops, you have the ability to Control to deselect edge loops, right? So it's kind of one of those things you might just go in here and just kind of find a few of those edge loops that you don't want to bevel, right? Like we don't really want to bevel this one, we don't really want to bevel that one. So remember, Control double left click could be a great way to kind of get some last little edge loops deselected, so that you really only kind of have kind of the proper corners for beveling, right? So it never hurts to go in here and just maybe kind of deselect a few extra ones. And then, of course, we can hit Control B for bevel, and then middle mouse click drag, right? Get a second here. It's going to probably take a minute here because trying to stream this with screen share and video record, and Blender is making this go a little slower. Oh, come on. Don't be that slow, really. Yeah. All right. So this might really actually be one of those things where maybe I'll have to do lecture and then video record outside of that, because this is taking a bit of time. All right. Remember, the bevel options will come up down here, though. Come on. There we go. Middle mouse click there we go. All right. So I can bevel this really quick. Remember, down here is that little bevel option, so you can kind of open that up, all right? And you can, of course, control the width. And if you want to give some segments, you can, right? That'll give you extra edge loops right around the bevels there. If you want, you can even kind of play with different things like width versus offset. You can have it kind of play around some of the mirroring options if you want to. I think that'll be okay for us there, though. But in this case, you see we get that nice little kind of bevel that just rounds the shapes off for us, right? And that was kind of one of the big things I wanted to get you guys to see today is to remember, you have a bevel tool, right? It's right there. And you can actually go in here and just bevel those corners. But remember, Control double left click is a great way to kind of deselect edge loops if you need to, right? Kind of the last thing you might want to do here is go to 4 for object mode. And then you can go to Add, Mesh, Cube, right? And I can go to face mode, right? 3 for face mode, W for move. Kind of bring this up to here. Now in this case, these kind of already been collapsed down, so I probably want to just go to blue wrench. And, just maybe put a quick subdivision surface modifier on there. Remember that little triangle. Right click, 4 for object mode, right click, shade smooth. And then of course if you want you can add an edge loop down the center, Alt C. And we could do kind of a little bit of maybe shape sizing, right? So Control A for select all. And remember you could scale this in here. Maybe even scale it a little bit that direction. Move it into place to kind of maybe be like a little separate headrest up here. And remember, you can always apply, right? So if I go back to 4 for object mode and I go to the little pull down here, I can go apply. And that gives us kind of a little headrest. You see it's actually been subdivided. But remember, you can actually, if you're in 4 for object mode, you could take this object, shift left click on the one below it, and then right click, and there's a join option, right? Remember, right click brings that object context menu up, and you could join. And what that does is it makes these one object. So you can kind of add even more to that headrest if you want to. You can start to bridge stuff together. So I just wanted to kind of at least get a video kind of finishing the chair up for us a little bit, right? So I think that'll be a great place to stop there. Let me stop the recording.